Story 1. Go on long walks with no one else, usually in the woods. Don't bring music or any distractions. Just let your mind wander. Even if my thoughts start negatively, by the time I'm home again, my mind is usually clear of negativity. Story 2. Just try your best to live in the present. I feel like that is the secret to life. All your problems will disappear since they are not relevant now. Just breathe and focus on your body and gestures and everything around you. When thoughts come in, listen to them intently. When you do that, the thoughts won't take over. Just feel and concentrate on the present moment. Only think about the past and future when they are relevant to the present. You're welcome. Story 3. Stoicism really helped me to see things differently. Last month I was robbed, and my first thought was, well, eventually something bad will happen. At least I can afford a new bike right now. I am grateful in general, but I'm speaking from a privileged point of view, where I still live with my parents, have a job, and no mental or physical health problems. Story 4. I take time to be grateful for the things that I have. I'm able to live comfortably and with some stability. I'm close enough to my family and friends to see them when I want to. I'm not worried about going hungry. Even if something happened to devastate my financial situation, I have a support system of people who genuinely care about me. I found a new cereal that I really like. My cats are healthy. They have the funniest little meows. One of them follows my husband everywhere and chirps at him. It's adorable. We got some nice Christmas gifts that we can enjoy together. The cats did too. There are things that hurt a lot in my life. My health isn't the best. I deal with chronic pain on a daily basis. I can't seem to keep my weight where I want it. My mental health has some major downswings if I don't keep it under control. But I'm okay. And I try to remind myself of that. I'm warm, dry, and safe. Story 5. You just get really good at distracting yourself. Hobbies, work, social media, or whatever keeps you from staring into the void for too long. The trick is to find small moments of meaning in the chaos, like a fleeting win in a video game or the perfect cup of coffee. Anything to trick yourself into thinking it's all worth it, even for a second. Story 6. Honest answer? Sometimes it's pretty difficult. What I have found to really help me, though, is working to make myself the person that I want to be. I put a lot of effort into diet and exercise to stay healthy, fit, and attractive. I've read a lot of books, I've done a lot of traveling, I've put the time into learning how to play multiple musical instruments and played in several bands. I've played a lot of sports and have several hobbies, and I've gotten pretty advanced in some of them. These things all contribute to making me a more interesting person with lots of good stories to tell. I also try to be a social and gregarious person. Basically, I try to act like the kind of person that I would want to be friends with, and as a result, I generally like myself for the most part. It's easier to not hate life when you don't hate yourself. There's also more to it than that. For the most part, people want to be around people who are interesting, good-looking, and friendly, so these things can open a lot of doors for you both socially and professionally. I actually just got accepted to medical school last year despite having a pretty subpar undergraduate grade point average. And what did it for me was the fact that I'm a unique and interesting person with a broad breadth of interests, hobbies, and life experiences. I guess basically what I'm saying is if you find yourself hating life, a good place to start is working on yourself. Find a few things you don't like about yourself because everyone has things they don't like about themselves, including me, and start working on them. I can't make any guarantees, but if you're able to improve yourself, then your life should start to improve around you. Story 7. To put it simply, I view every experience as positive because no matter what the experience is, I learn something. Break my arm? I have never broken a bone before, so I learned what it feels like and what the doctors do, what kind of medicine I would get, and so on. Got fired? I learned what can cause me to get fired, assuming I didn't do anything bad. What happens when you're fired? Is it really like the movie show where you get a box and security escorts you out? Girlfriend breaks up with me? I learned why that person would leave me. I'm familiar with this, though, so there are fewer additional things to learn. Anything you can think of will be positive to me. Parents die, pets die, friends die, house catches on fire, all learning experiences. This isn't to say that pain doesn't exist. That broken bone is going to hurt, and if I got burned in the house fire, that would hurt, and I'd learn what being burned felt like. But unfortunate experiences won't make me hate life. No matter what happens to you, besides dying, you'll be okay. Story 8. I've been on the planet 63 years now. Married, kids, house and cars, all the bells and whistles. And I have pretty much hated every second of it. But you'd never know it. Because I get the joke for what it is. Little self-important nothings scurrying around busy at nothing doing meaningless things that will be forgotten by all in the blink of an eye. It's little more than a contest where the only winner is the guy supplying it. It's a battle of wills. Death can have me, but it will be with bad breath and a full diaper. Story 9. Art and music. Making it, sharing it, enjoying it. When I am working on a painting or a song, it gives me purpose every single day. Falling in love with a new album similarly enriches life. It will be playing in my head even through the dull hours of work. I would recommend a creative pursuit for anyone who does not currently have one. You do not have to be some highly trained expert to make art. Story 10. Maybe find people who love you to hang out with and set some goals in life, whether they are career goals or short-term goals, that will help you get out of bed every day and make you feel better when you achieve them. Story 11. Learn to enjoy the little things. No, the weather isn't bad. Rain is beautiful. No, nights aren't too long. You should rest more. Christmas decorations aren't expensive. They're beautiful and bring a little joy in the winter. I pet my cat, eat well, take walks, decorate my home, buy plants, listen to some music. Life is good. If your life is difficult, there's a high chance the problems are solvable. Troublesome family? Go no contact. Feeling depressed? See a doctor, find a hobby, do sports. No point in life? Life has no point. Just enjoy it and give up the existential crisis. Work is unsatisfying? Change your workplace or change your job. Story 12. Change your home and environment, even if it hurts you financially. Your home is where you likely spend the most time and create most of your habits. Story 13. You are responsible for what you can control in your life. Avoid self-fulfilling prophecies and recognize when you are making yourself feel worse. Negativity is really easy to get into, so you have to consciously decide to push against it. It will feel weird if your brain is used to it. Do a good deed for someone else without expecting anything in return. If you cannot fathom helping people, then help animals. Help clean up areas around you that have trash. A feeling of purpose, even small things, can work. Get out of the stuck or frozen state. That will take more work. Story 14. Having a positive attitude, regardless of the circumstances, is extremely hard to do sometimes. However, if you just look for the good, even in the bad, your outlook on life will be much more positive. Story 15. I focus on the positive things every day, even the little things. Every night, I list all the things I'm grateful for. People, my job, my car getting me safely around, my house and getting to see the sunrise, etc. Story 16. I have that sweet espresso and then lift weights while I play my favorite music, followed by a sauna and cold shower afterward. This routine keeps me so satisfied with my life and the choices I have made to avoid drugs or alcohol and eat well. Story 17. Find out what you want from life and go out and get it. If you have a reason to live, you end up not seeing all the bad in life and start loving it, even though it still gets difficult from time to time. For me, that reason is my daughter. For you, it could be anything, a job, a hobby, or whatever it is. Find it and live for it. Story 18. The biggest way is to learn to express gratitude. That's it. No matter what your life is, there are at least some things in your life that are going okay. You might be without chronic disease, be okay financially, have good friends, be really good at video games, or what have you. Learning to be content with the good things in life is beneficial for you in the long run, rather than just focusing on the negatives. Story 19. Find some occupation that you enjoy and spend as much time as you can doing it, whether it's guitar, yodeling, surfing, spreadsheets, or whatever. Also, spend less time with draining people. Story 20. Antidepressants. I tried about 4 different ones until I found one that worked for me. The depressing thing is when I finally decided I should retry going on them, my doctor said, "You'd be surprised how many people take them. They are the most prescribed drug and are up there with antivirals, blood pressure medication, and insulin. Story 21. My pets. I remind myself that everything I feel and do affects them, and so I work very hard to make sure they get joy out of life. They're all I have. Story 22. Genuinely working with children regularly helps me see potential and opportunity outside myself. That, along with finding hobbies that I refuse to try to monetize, has been good for my brain. Story 23. There are two greatest days of your life. One is when you are born, and the second is when you find out why. You have to find your purpose and get outside to enjoy nature. Story 24. My grandpa used to have a saying or belief about doing your mitzvah for the day. Mitzvah, in Judaism, usually refers to a duty done out of religious obligations. More colloquially, it can mean any good deed. He believed, and I believe, that it is important to get out of your own head and engage with your community in a positive way, however small. I think back to a month ago when I was catastrophizing about the election results. Stuck in my head on the subway, glaring at anyone who looked like a likely Trump voter. Which one of you did this to us? Which one of you did this to me? I silently fumed. I was so distracted I almost tripped over the young woman with too much luggage struggling to get up the stairs out of the subway. I offered to help her, and when we were on the street, she unexpectedly gave me a hug. I nervously laughed and said something about how we all need whatever help we can find today. It really brought me out of my ruminations and fear spiral. A simple, kind interaction with a stranger reminded me of the capacity for kindness and bringing joy or even just relief to others. Something I'll have to try very hard to keep in mind the next few years. Story 25. I romanticize most aspects of my existence, even hardship and sadness. I used to hate when people would do this, but I was also miserable. Life is a miracle and absolutely beautiful, so I will treat it as such. Story 26. A lot of these are really good suggestions. For me, it's choosing my own attitude, trying to have the self-awareness to know when I'm getting too negative and hitting the reset button through exercise when I need to calm down. Story 27. Perspective. A day spent doing chores around the house, like dishes or cleaning, is better than what probably 25% or more of the world's population is experiencing during the same day. Learn to relish the day-to-day you're having because someone would gladly do unspeakable acts to trade places with you. Story 28. I've had a lot of great and unique experiences. It allows me to not break during the stress games that Pokemon Doctor tries to play. If I were a bland youth with no other life experience or an addict perhaps, or maybe had survived some type of significant child abuse, I might not be strong enough. I think I'm supposed to be a spicy treat for geranium. Gotta love pedophile golf courses. Story 29. John 16 verse 33. These things I have spoken to you, that in me you might have peace. In the world you shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. Matthew 11 verses 28 to 30. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. John 14 verse 27. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid. Story 31. While long-term goals are important and often require sacrifice, don't forget about enjoying the now. For example, I would love to go on a trip this summer, but I am saving for a house. That doesn't mean I have to sit around the house feeling bad for myself this summer. I can start an inexpensive hobby or go on some local camping trips. Constantly be improving your situation. If you wait until a small problem becomes a big problem, it can become overwhelming. Work on making things easy for yourself proactively. Story 31. I take control and responsibility for myself and my life and shape it to my liking. And then I try not to be a perfectionist. I am not perfect, neither is my life, and perfection was never the goal. I just need to lead a good life for me and my loved ones. Story 32. I express myself vulnerably and authentically. I wear bright colors and explore the hobbies that I've always wanted to practice. such as fantasy world building and martial arts. I do things that are feminine even though I train to elbow people in the face. I kiss boys, go to therapy, and don't use alcohol or other hard drugs. I practice meditation and yoga, even though middle-class white people tell me that I'm not allowed to. I share my feelings and tell people when I'm struggling. These practices have helped me hate life less, though I probably hate people more. Queerness is often mislabeled and violently opposed. I'm called a pedophile regularly. Strangers will insist that I'm displaying my body inappropriately no matter the actual reality of it. I can wear basketball shorts with a white shirt, but if I put on yellow pants with a pink hoodie over the white shirt and shorts, then I'm considered indecent. Really, the amount that self-proclaimed straight men think of male anatomy is questionable in itself. Expressing yourself comes at a cost, and loving yourself even more so. Many people hate to see someone happier than themselves, especially if you haven't earned your stripes through traditional means. If you're not rich, a model, a star athlete, or a brilliant academic, then you don't deserve to be content according to the ideas of our society. I try to just do what I want as long as it doesn't hurt anyone else. Celebrate the absurdity of it all.